Hey guys, it's Matt here, and I'm going to welcome you to the first episode of Clone Corner. And in this series, we'll be talking about different clone consoles, hence the name Clone Corner. And in this episode of Clone Corner, we'll be talking about the Power Joy, or as some know it as, the Power Joy Classic TV game. The Power Joy is a Famicom made by Trump Grand in the year 2001. Trump Grand also goes by the very long name, the Trump Grand Electronic Toy Factory, also known as the Trump Grand Manufacturing Company, and is based in Hong Kong and is known for making plug-and-play games just like the Power Joy, and not really much else. Although don't think it's only behind one Power Joy. Oh no, it has created all of the Power Joys. Yes, all of them. It has created Power Joy 1, 2, 3, Voyager, Navigator, and the Power Joy Supermax. Yes, there's a Power Joy Supermax. For all of you who didn't know, me included. They're also the creators behind certain models of the Dream Gear and the Mega Duo.
Now let's look at what's inside the box. Here we see the primary controller that does have AV cables that plug into your television. However, they are mono, not stereo, which can be a problem for some Let's Players or anyone who wants to record footage because it can become difficult to plug it into your Roxio or Elgato device. And there are already 10 games built inside. The 10 games are interesting, but some of them are light gun games, and they don't work on my HD television. So essentially, they're worthless. Now here we see the second controller, if someone does want to jump in and be player 2, but for some of these games, I don't really see the point. And this is the PowerJoy PJ008. Basically, it's a multi-cart. There are 84 games packed into this cart, and some of them never even made it to the US. There are a few different versions of this cartridge, and depending on which PowerJoy you get, even if it's the original one, you may actually get a different version of this cartridge. Even though PowerJoy is written on it, it is not exclusive to the PowerJoy, and it can be used on any Famicom system or clone system. What's interesting about the PowerJoy is that you could actually plug cartridges in on the back of the controller. However, there's nothing on the back of the controller to protect the contacts, so they're just kind of left out in the open. Which, I don't know about you guys, but that kind of freaks me out a little bit. So you might be asking yourself, well, if the multi-cart is just a regular old Famicom cartridge, then do other Famicom games work on the PowerJoy? Let's find out. Here we have my original copy of Dragon Ball Daimao Fukatsu, which translates to Dragon Ball The Great Demon King's Revival. So let's plug this baby into the back of the controller and see how it works. That is a blue screen of death. And that is why I get worried about having a controller with open contacts on the back of it. But I was able to clean the contacts, and you can actually see that in a future episode of TG Tutorials. And look at that, the game works just fine. But let's take things one step further. Some of you guys may have seen my unboxing video where I unboxed Retro Freak's NES to Famicom converter. That allows you to play NES games on your Famicom. I think you guys see where this is going. Today we'll be using my original Legend of Kage NES game. The game looks really old, but I actually bought it recently, and I decided to keep all the stickers and everything on there as a kind of seal of authenticity, if you will. So let's plug the converter into the back of the controller, and oh no. Well, that's not good. The protective case that the actual board is in doesn't fit into the controller itself. So I guess it just doesn't work. I'm just kidding with you guys. So I'm going to take a screwdriver to the back of this baby and unscrew every single one of these screws, because remember, it was a protective case put on after the fact. There is a board in there that works just fine. After taking out the screws, the protective case actually comes off quite easily, which you might not be able to see on camera because I am using one hand. But there it is. Look at it in all its glory. So make sure to plug the black part into the NES cartridge, and remember to do it slowly because now you have an open and exposed board, and it would be terrible if you broke that, because personally I paid $25 for this converter. And look at that, it plugs in just fine. However, plugging it into the back of the controller will be a bit of a hassle. Plugging it in may not seem like a problem, but remember, you do have to play with the controller. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to hold the controller upside down, and look at that. The game works just fine, but again, you can't really play it because it's a little shaky. And if you notice, in about 3, 2, 1, this game is not going to work anymore. So while you can play NES games on here, it's not really practical.
Now before we wrap things up, the question might be, should you get a PowerJoy? Well, this review wasn't really meant to discuss whether or not you should or shouldn't get one, so after looking at all the facts, if you really think that it's a good quality product for you, then I would suggest that you get one. But there are a ton of different Famicom consoles out there that are made more, I would say, traditionally, and made in a way that you can easily navigate without having to use a kind of clunky controller with a really awkward base to plug in your cartridge. Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching this episode of Clone Corner, and make sure to tune in soon for part 2 of this video where I will be checking out all of the built-in games in the PowerJoy. Alright guys, so make sure to like and subscribe if you like the video. Click like and subscribe if you do. And also make sure to look around me because there will be different links to videos and subscription buttons and all that stuff that you can click on to see some other stuff that's on this channel. Thank you all so much. Have a nice day and I hope you enjoyed the video. So, see ya.